Welcome in, everyone. Bill Rentschler in the 1011 Now streaming studio, joined today with Eddie Messel. We are going to be looking at the NSAA Boys State Basketball Championship bracket. We did this last week, Eddie, with the girls bracket. This week, boys bracket. Last week was fantastic. Had great turnout for all the games. The games were great. And now we get to do it all again with the boys. The weather last week was also great. It's usually not great during state basketball. This week, it's a little meh. So it really does feel like, again, state basketball this week.
And I like them splitting it up. I really do. I know this is how it's been done before. Again, my first experience last year was them being in the same week. A little hectic, but I like them splitting it up. I think it gives both the boys and girls their times to shine separately, which I think is.
And that's the nice part, and I think that's well deserved for both of them.
Oh yeah,
they've gone through a lot this season. They shouldn't have to necessarily share the spotlight with each other.
And it's like you said, last week was fun. This week we're gonna get into it here, but I think this week's gonna be just as fun, if not hopefully a little more craziness down to the wire games. But we're gonna see.
Absolutely. All right, so we'll go ahead and we'll jump in just like we did last week. We'll start with looking at the D2 side of the bracket. And last year, D2 champion was Parkview Christian. They won over St. Mary's 64-48. Parkview Christian back in it again this year is the number 3 seed, but the number 1 seed this year is Why Not, 22-4. They'll take on 8 seed Paxton. Games start tomorrow. These games, though, the D2 games are on Thursday, though. So that Why Not Paxton game Thursday, 9 a.m. at Pinnacle Bank Arena. Yeah,
and you talked about it. We'll start there in D2 with Parkview Christian, obviously a local team right here in Lincoln. They won it all last year, as you just alluded to. The 3 seed is I don't know if anybody's excited about having to play Parkview Christian as a 3 seed.
No.
They are fantastic. They were fantastic last year. They lost a few guys last year, but they also returned some guys. Maurice Reed, he could play on any team, I think, in the capital city. He is fantastic. And then Victor Kachalewski is also a stud for the Patriots to watch out for. So definitely a real threat again this year to repeat, and that would be huge for Parkview Christian, because between that and basketball, or that and football, they have just been on a tear as a program.
It's been a good time to be Parkview Christian.
Oh yeah.
So again, that's the Parkview Christian 3 seed. They are against Fall City Sacred Heart 6 seed, and that game is scheduled to tip on Thursday at 7:45 at Devaney. So then the other 2 games in the D2 bracket, Shelton, the 2 seed, versus Santee, the 7 seed, 4 seed Osceola against 5 seed Sumner, Eddyville, Miller.
And then Osceola is another area team to look out for. Kind of driven by Kale Gustafson and Isaiah Selazny. Isaiah Selazny, if you haven't heard of him, he is a fantastic athlete for the Bulldogs. He does it all, track.
And they won the CRC
basketball
championship this year.
Yep, they were CRC champs this year after losing it last year, so we were there. We got some really good stuff there. Zelazny was the MVP of that game, so look out for him. And then Kale Gustafson, again, he's been fantastic this year. So Osceola, they're looking to, after losing in the semifinals last year to St. Mary's, they're looking to bounce back this year. And then that Shelton team, they were an 8 seed last year, coming in as a 2 seed this year.
Looking for revenge.
They were bounced in that first round last year, so look out for them, after getting bounced in that first round.
D2 looks like it's going to be a good bracket. So again, all those games are on Thursday, through the day on Thursday at PBA as well as Devaney. If you move up a class, D1, again, champion last year for D1 is North Platte St. Pat's, and they're back at it again this year, Eddie. They are the number 1 seed again, 23-2 this year. They're going to take on 8 seed Meade at 9 a.m. tomorrow at Pinnacle Bank. So bright and early. Meade is not getting no favors for Meade. They're going to jump right into it.
Oh, yeah. And like you said, North Platte, I mean, they won it all last year. They're the 1 seed again this year. If you're a betting man, I think a lot of people are high on North Platte St. Pat, so a really tough team to look out for. 2 area teams playing also in that D1 bracket. You got Johnson Brock and Howells Dodge. Neither made the state tournament last year, and they have not faced each other this year. Both teams playing some really good basketball this year, so that's going to be a fun one.
And they get the night game too. So again, The night games are always the best games. Everyone's there
Everyone's
from being there all day.
You can't eat. Everybody hasn't left. Everyone just gets to sit down and relax and enjoy all those late games. So those are always super fun. So yeah, look out for Johnson Brock and Howes Dodge. I think a lot of people are looking forward to that game too.
And then the other two games in D1, 4-seed Elm Creek taking on 5-seed Dundee County Stratton at 10:45, or I guess following game 1 at Pinnacle Bank Arena tomorrow. And then game 3 is 2-seed Maywood Hayes Center versus number 7-seed Ansley Litchfield. That game scheduled to tip at 6 p.m. at Devaney. And then the Johnson Brock Howes Dodge game also at Devaney tomorrow night. So lots of good ones. I mean, we're only through D1 and D2, and we got a lot of good matchups.
Oh yeah.
Moving up one more class, C2. Champion of C2 last year was Humphrey Lindsay Holy Family, and they won over Grand Island Central Catholic 43-42 last year. Grand Island Central Catholic not making the tournament this go around.
Yeah, this C2 one, C2 is going to be really fun. C2's one of my favorite teams to look out for. Freeman. We've covered
number
a lot.
1 seed. Freeman.
Yeah, we you know, Freeman has been on 10-11, been featured on 10-11 a lot the last 2 years. Carter Ruse, I don't know if anybody can say enough about how great of an athlete he is. Another do-it-all kid, you know, great football star too. So their only loss came from Tri-County this year, and that was at Modecus. So their 1 seed is very deserved. They won on a few buzzer beaters, thanks to Carter Ruse this year. Wears that number 32 pretty proudly. So look out for Freeman. They're going to be a really fun one. Really fun team to watch this year. They've been fun to watch all year. And then I just brought up Tri-County. They are also in the tournament. So they're the only team to beat Freeman.
In the Modecus.
Yep.
And the basketball in Modecus is some high-level basketball.
Yeah, it's one of Kevin Suits' favorite tournaments, one of his favorite times of the entire year.
He gets so hyped up.
Oh yeah,
for Modecus.
That is his favorite. But Tri-County, they don't have an easy draw. They got Donovan Trumbull, who has been also fantastic this year.
24-2 this year.
24-2. Didn't lose a game until February 7th. Whew. So they were fun. They got some guys who can jump out of the gym as well. Donovan Trumbull's pretty fun highlights. Them that have been featured on 10-11 this year. Their other losses to Amherst. The sub-districts, Amherst, another team to look out for in that C2.
24-1.
They're the 2 seeds. So that C2 class is going to be a pretty. Every class is going to be competitive, but that C2 class, a lot of teams I think who are right there with each other.
So C2 games, those will all be played also on Thursday between all at Devaney too. So Freeman 1 seed taking on 8 Gordon Rushville at 9 a.m. Cedar Catholic 4 seed versus Elkhorn Valley in game 2. Amherst number 2 seed versus Norfolk Catholic game 3, and Donovan Trumbull versus Tri-County for the afternoon game there at Devaney at 3:15. So again, lots of good games, all on the D2 through C2, all very good. If we jump back down to the other side of the bracket, take a look at C1. If I can, it won't let me do it right now, I guess. There we go. We'll just do this. So C1, number 1 seed Wahoo. I think I have some Wahoo highlights over here that we can
run some of those, because they are one of the most fun teams in the state to watch this year. Not just in Class C1, but one of the most fun and exciting teams in the entire state. So
there's some Wahoo highlights. This is from Wahoo versus St. Paul,
and they have
which I don't think was close.
They have been fantastic this year. Wahoo. Their only losses to Ashland Greenwood, who did win it all last year. Ashland Greenwood and Wahoo, both 2 area teams. But Wahoo, they've beaten Class B and A teams this year, and that's as a C1 team. They beat North Platte in Class A. They were the 1 seed last year, and they got upset in the first round by Fort Calhoun. So I don't think a lot of people are counting them out. They definitely want some revenge, especially after the year that they've had this year, looking to not get bounced again. They do play Auburn, so a ton of championship experience from Auburn.
Auburn was lost to Ashland Greenwood just by 3 last year, so they're looking for their championship this year.
Oh yeah, and they under Jim and Jackson Weeks. I mean that Auburn team is always a tough team. They're in the state tournament year in and year out, but Wahoo has showed their dominance this year in C1. Benji Nelson, Marcus Glock, Garrett Grand Gannett, the three of them have been fantastic for Wahoo. So really look out for Wahoo. And then we'll jump down into that Ashland Greenwood since we're talking about them a little bit. C1 state title last year. Again, they won it on a buzzer beater, which was probably some of our best video of the year last year, I think, in my opinion. At the state tournament, it was awesome video. Look out for Dane Jacobson. He's the quarterback of the football team. He's also a star on the basketball team. His brother is Cale Jacobson. For anybody who doesn't know, he is also a Husker this year. He walked on. So Cale Jacobson is the Jacobson family, just a bunch of stud athletes.
Some good genes there.
So look out for Ashland Greenwood. Again, the only team to take down Wahoo this year. And then another matchup, Ogallala, they're undefeated, facing Central City. The Bison, incredible run this year. It's their first appearance in state since the 1940s. Our sister station, KSMB, actually did a really cool piece on the only two living players who are still alive from that Central City team.
That's cool.
And they spoke to the guys going to the state tournament this week. So pretty cool stuff there. So a lot of history for Central City. They don't have an easy task trying to take down Ogallala. Again, they're undefeated, but a really cool storyline there for Central City, who, again, have had a really good year.
So all these C1 games being played at Devaney tomorrow. First one again, 1 seed Wahoo versus 8 seed Auburn at 9 a.m. Game 2 is number 4 Pierce, 23-3 this year, versus number 5 seed Omaha Concordia, also 23-3, 10:45. And then he just got done talking about Ogallala and Central City. That's Game 3 at Devaney at 1:30 is when that's supposed to tip, and then Ashland Greenwood versus Sydney, the number 6 seed at 3:15. So again, a lot of good basketball going to be played over the next several days.
Oh yeah.
Here in Lincoln. So
We're
class.
gonna have highlights of it all too. So
So make sure you download the 1011 app and like us on YouTube and subscribe on YouTube so you get all the highlights. They should all be there. Class B, couple again local teams, but number 1 seed Scott Catholic. They are going to be out for revenge again. They lost in the finals last year to Omaha Roncalli. Roncalli not making it to state this year.
Not making it to state this year because of a buzzer beater from Norris, a freshman for Norris who ended a Roncalli season. Norris has had probably the most insane story this year in terms of their run to the state tournament. So
we got some Crete and Norris highlights here.
Both teams that we're going to talk about here in this Class B. So yeah, Norris, they have been their run. They've had down the stretch here. They've had multiple buzzer beater games. They've almost had no business making it this far, but they find a way to win, man. The Titans, I mean, you want to talk about finding ways to win around this time in March. It's not a bad time to be finding ways to win. So look out for Norris. Again, unbelievable last few months from them. And then you brought up Crete. Crete was one of the hottest teams in the state as well this year in Class B, or even in any class. When they opened the year, they only had 2 losses until February, and one of them was to Scott Catholic, who, again, is that number 1 team in Class B. But it got really weird down the stretch for the Cardinals. They lost 4 straight at the end of the year.
Probably, I'm gonna say this probably because they're all away from their gym, because I think they have the best gym in the state.
Do you?
I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say it. Yeah,
so don't know what happened with the Cardinals there, but they were obviously able to get that win against Waverly in the B5 final to punch their ticket. And again, outside of those 4 games on the stretch, Crete, unbelievable year, well-deserved appearance here in state. They got Jabin Gardner and Aiden McDowell. You saw Aiden McDowell in some of those highlights there. Both of them are really fun to watch. Jabin Gardner, he can jump out of a gym too. He's a big guy in Class B. So Crete, look out for them this year.
And they'll take on Elkhorn Thursday at Pinnacle Bank Arena. That game scheduled to tip at 3:15.
Mm-hmm. And Elkhorn's had a couple really big wins this year too. Again, they're one of the only teams to beat Scott Catholic this year. Scott losing one of their losses. Scott is too Pius, Class A team. Yeah, the fighting Bill Renchlers.
Yep.
Loves his Pius.
I'm an alumnus, so I have to cheer for him.
Pius, unfortunately, we're not getting to Class A yet. Unfortunately, not in the state tournament, but we'll get to Class A in a second. But
we just need another set of Hoibergs to play there, and we'd be good.
Well, and he's playing fantastic right now.
I know.
So look out for Scott Catholic in B, and then we can't not leave Class B until we talk about York.
The Dukes.
The Dukes have also had a really good year. Garrett Ivey and Ryan Sievers. Theme here for some of these schools, Ryan Sievers also the quarterback. A lot of these kids, obviously dual sport athletes who are just studs. York, they've had a really good year as well. And their matchup is against Scottsbluff is a pretty favorable matchup for them in that round one. They have not played each other this year. It's a favorable matchup for them in that first round. As the 3 seed, so look out for the Dukes. Again, that team to beat. Everyone's going to be trying to take down Scott Catholic, I think, in that Class B.
Yeah. We had to do that for a long time. It was always tough. More good basketball for Class B again. All these Class B games going to be at PBA on Thursday. First one tipping at 1:30 in the afternoon on Thursday. The late game being that Scottsbluff York game scheduled to tip at 7:45 on Thursday at PBA. And then Class A. Holy cow. So I think 3 years in a row now, it's been Bellevue West versus Millard North in the championship. I believe Millard North has won the last 2.
Yep.
I'm not rooting against any team, but like,
you want to see a little change.
I would like to maybe
well,
see.
You got a little bit of change with the Lincoln teams. I don't think a lot of people expected Lincoln to do what they did this year, but Lincoln basketball in Class A has been. Me and Kevin talk about it. It has been outstanding this year. So the fact that there are 3 teams represented this year is fantastic because it's very, very well deserved with how hard that these kids played this year. It was great basketball.
It has been 20 years since a Lincoln Class A team has won boys state, and that was Lincoln High way back in 2003. So again, I'm not
Lincoln High, another team that they were
close.
They were right there.
An
overtime loss in that district finals. So you're talking about you're a couple points away from 4 teams being represented from Lincoln in the capital city in the state tournament this year. So what a year for Lincoln basketball in terms of Class A. But as far as you mentioned Bell West and Millard North, obviously 2 of the best programs in the state.
Yep.
Bell West, I think if you're a betting man, is probably still the favorite. They're
reigning
undefeated.
No,
Undefeated on the year, not reigning champs,
but undefeated.
Undefeated this year. They're led by Josiah Doetzler, who, if you haven't watched play, is fantastic. He's going to Creighton, so he's led them the whole way. But I'll tell you what, they got to play North Star in that first round, so not an easy draw for the Gators, who won an incredible game out in Gretna to punch their ticket to the state tournament. But you get North Star. I'll tell you what, with Brendan Clemens and Antala Sandalonel. They also have Lazarick Houston, who's just a sophomore. He's a good guard. If they could play some sound basketball, North Star is a tough team to beat because, again, Clemens and Sandalonel are monsters. Very big guys. Very, very big guys in Class A. So look out for the Gators. Again, not an easy draw for them, but if they put it together, when they're playing good basketball, I think North Star is just as good as almost anyone in the state. Probably if not the most athletic team in the state with the guys they got. They also got Gatwich, who has just been fantastic this year as well. And then obviously Lincoln East, one of the better teams in the capital city this year. It's so tough to say better teams because Southeast is who won the city championship, but East has been really hot down the stretch here. But Lincoln East, they're matched up with Omaha Westside in that first round, and East handled Westside early in February, and that was on the road. Again, East, one of the hottest teams probably in Class A right now. Carter Templemeyer, Carter Mick, Christian Maleza. A lot of good leadership for the Spartans, and they're a really fun team to watch. Talked about North Star playing a sound game. I think one of the most sound teams in the state is Lincoln East. They don't make a ton of mistakes. They pass the ball well. They can dunk. They can do it all. So they're a tough team to beat if they're playing sound, which they always do. And they've given us some of our best highlights throughout the year too. So Lincoln East, again, really, really fun to watch. And then Millard North obviously won it all last year. And then Southeast.
The last 2 years.
Last 2 years,
Millard North is, and the year before that they lost in the finals. So, again, I said it, I'm not rooting against any team, but I'd like to see some change at the top.
We're going to see. I mean, it's possible. Again, with how good the basketball has been around the state this year, especially in the capital city, I wouldn't sit here and tell you I'd be surprised if one of the Lincoln teams, or not 2 of them, can make their way to the championship.
we
and we could see two Lincoln teams in the championship.
We got North Star and Lincoln East on the top half of the bracket, and we got Southeast on the bottom. So it's not out of the question it could be an all Lincoln Class A state final.
Oh, yeah. And listen, Southeast, again, another team. They won, that's where I was saying East is one of the hot teams, but Southeast did win the city championship this year. You see Ben got Dak there. He's been one of the high-flying guys and fun guys to watch this year. So Southeast, not surprising that they were able to take down Creighton Prep and move on to that next round. Ben got Dak. He has been a force this year, and the Knights, they are a sneaky, fun team to watch. Another team that if they can get going, I think they can compete with just about any team in Class A. So another really good, athletic, freaky team. I'll say this: Bell West, super sound basketball team, but they're not jumping out of the gym, I think, as they were in years past. That's not saying that Bell West is fantastic.
Yes.
They will light you up from three. They will find ways to score. But as far as athleticism and just high flying. Man, it has been like that in the capital city this year. And North Star, East, and Southeast are all three teams that will give you some high-flying games and some exciting highlights down the stretch here at PBA. So
it's exciting.
It's a lot of fun stuff moving forward here.
So Class A games all start. They're all tomorrow. They're all at PBA. They start at 1:30 in the afternoon with the 1 seed Bellevue West versus 8 seed Lincoln North Star. Game 2 is 4 seed Lincoln East versus 5 seed West Side. 2 seed Millard North takes on 7 seed Elkhorn South at 6 at Pinnacle Bank, and the last game of the night at PBA 7:45 3 seed Gretna taking on Lincoln Southeast.
Gretna's another team. Again, look out for them. Obviously, they had North Star right there, too. North Star just played a fantastic game down the stretch. So Class A is just going to be, I feel like we said this all the time, but Class A is going to be super competitive. It's going to be really fun. I'm excited for all of it, to be honest.
You're spending like the next 3 days at PBA, basically,
yes.
Right?
Yeah, we're not. We're kind of parking it down there and not spending it much else. But we got a lot of big stuff going on. Obviously, Nebraska basketball's in the Big Ten tournament starting tomorrow.
Baseball played today?
Baseball played today. Got the home opener win. They're red hot. They've won 6 of their last 7. So a lot of good things happening.
It really makes you wonder what happened that first weekend in San Diego.
Who knows? But they're rolling right now. Took down Vandy, number 7 team in the country.
Yeah.
Struggled against.
In the country, 17 or 7?
7.
7.
Did I say 17?
You said 17.
7. I meant 7.
There you go.
And then Ole Miss, obviously number 4. They struggled a little bit there down the stretch in that last game of the tournament, but it's a lot of exciting sports going on right now. Me and Kevin were also talking about the NIT. It's very possible that we have both the men and women games being hosted in the NIT.
That would be
in the postseason in March. So there is a lot of possible opportunities for playoff basketball, not just for high school at PBA coming up here, but also postseason college hoops with the men and women.
I think the men probably need to win.
They need to win
at least one game.
They need to win at least one,
have a
which
realistic chance
they're opening up as 6-point favorites right now against Minnesota. So I think a lot of people, if you're a betting man,
hard to beat a team 3 times though.
With the way you're playing. You got to think that's a super winnable game, and then you got Maryland, who you just beat. Next up, if you're able to win. So
man, lots of sports things happening. Over the next couple days. So again, as always, keep it tuned to 1011 on air online. Eddie Messel, sports director Kevin Suit's going to have everything plus the interns. Mm-hmm. Plus, our sister station KSNB is going to be in town shooting games too. We're going to have all of the highlights. Again, if you don't catch it online, or if you don't catch it on television, it's all going to be online. So make sure you keep it tuned to 1011now.com. Again, keep it tuned for 1011 for all of your news, weather, and sports-related materials. Anything else, Eddie, before we let everyone go?
No, just hopefully we get to see a lot of people out there. Again, tune in. We're gonna be trying to put a lot of stuff on social media and on our websites. As far as any big-time plays, I know we're really going to be pushing for that, so look out for that. Follow us on all our social media platforms and on our website for coverage. We're going to be trying to give it very day of, like right then and there. We're going to be trying to pump out stuff as much as possible. So if you're not able to attend, at least you're able to somewhat experience the state tournament here. So just follow along with us here at 1011. It's going to be a fun week.
Awesome. All right. Well, thanks everyone for tuning in, watching. And again, like I said, keep it tuned to 1011 News for your on-air and online news.